So important that people feel a sense of hope that associated with their future, and if they feel that it's unreachable or that it's hopeless or that they're following a false hope, this is quite destructive to the future well-being of the family's efforts to invest in the future of their son and daughter. But when there's hope, then it fuels their intuition, their passion for getting a better life for their son and daughter. But it's like how to imagine that better life when things are bad. So very important two things here, that to not overwhelm people with a form of hope that is seen as impossible, or to offer a form of hope that actually is impossible. And therefore, whatever hope is given, like the good life, it is something that is available, is reachable, but only with effort. And therefore, it doesn't represent a false hope to give that to families, but to kind of pretend that their son and daughter can be anything and be completely independent, and that this is easy would be just a terrible thing to offer them, because those things are probably not going to come about. But many, many things can come about that are absolutely consistent with the good life that everybody experiences.
And what do you think about the possibility of simulating future goals through a little game? Snakes and ladders, Monopoly.
Yeah, simulations are very important, and because it gives you a test run, you get to see how you would feel with that, and to kind of test the thoughts and ideas, and even consider then the conditions that would be necessary to build to make that happen. And to do so as a simulation is very safe, but it also adds as a safeguard for when you finally get to do that thing. You've already thought it through and anticipated the problems that you might encounter and how to defeat them, as well as the resources you would need to pull that off.
And how to make good decisions.
And how to make good decisions that are thought through to anticipate the things that can go wrong. So it removes the naivety that can exist. So sometimes we might be too pessimistic, but sometimes we can also be overly optimistic and not encounter. We think that some things are easy. Many service workers think that they're more capable than they are, for instance. And therefore there's an optimism that is unfounded, and therefore deep disappointment, but disappointment that might affect a disabled person's life more than ours. And that's the thing, where our decisions are affecting the lives of someone else who may not have the capacity to deal with the breakdown of the effort, with the failure of the effort. The last thing they need is another failure. So the simulation helps to guarantee its success, and so it's a really good vehicle for helping to increase the chances that indeed it will be successful. There might be things you build in that don't just apply to the disability world, but also apply to normal life, like people getting ill.
Yeah.
People having falls and accidents, so that you're trying to take, if the game is a simulation, you might say, that takes you into the real life area, domain, then they're both the intrinsic issues that occur only for people with disabilities, but the extrinsic issues of life that occur for anyone. Losing a job, gathering an illness, falling down some stairs and breaking an arm and stuff like that. So having a distant relative or a grandmother go into a nursing home, having other demands that take place on a family, a new baby in the family, all sorts of extrinsic things that might also be built into the game. I guess you've got to be careful though not to overwhelm in the game with more negatives than there are positives, that there's a balance.
That's why we think that the game will be played with the staff, because the staff can sort of act as a balancing factor there.
That's right.
Sneak in perhaps some themes that are in this family. Like if the mother is pregnant, you can talk about a new baby.
Absolutely. And what's going to happen while she's in hospital, and who's going to look after the other, all of those kind of things. So,
okay, well, we'll definitely invite you as our first player.
Fantastic. It's wonderful.
Come and play with us.
I'd love to play that. That'll be wonderful.